All right, welcome back to another game of On Base Baseball. My name is Brian Hafferkamp. I'm the designer and creator of On Base Baseball. And in this video, we're going to have the 1991 ALCS Game 4. This is Minnesota at Toronto. Minnesota is up 2 games to 1. They won on a Chili Davis hit a go-ahead homer in the 8th, and they won 6-5 in game number 3. So this will be game 4. Make sure I get that on the screen right. Okay. So let's run through the starting lineups. It's the same as it has been. Dan Gladden leading off and playing left. Chuck Knobloch is hitting second and playing second. Kirby Puckett is the 3-hole hitter in center field. Ken Herbeck is at first base hitting 4th. Chili Davis is the DH. He's hitting 5th. Brian Harper is the catcher. He's hitting 6th. Shane Mack in right will hit 7th. Mike Pagliarulo, third baseman, hits 8th. And Greg Agney, the shortstop, is going to hit 9th. Jack Morris on the mound, 3.66 FIP and a 29 stamina. He's a right-hander. This will be his second start. First start of he started game 1. I believe he went 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 4 walks, and 4 Ks. They wound up losing that game, and he got a no decision. This will be Todd Stottlemyre's first start, by the way. So for the Blue Jays, it's Devon White hitting first and playing center. Robbie Alomar is hitting second and playing second. Joe Carter is going to slip into the DH role in this game. He's hitting third. John Olerud is at first. He's hitting 4th. Kelly Gruber is hitting 5th and playing 3rd. Candy Maldonado goes out to right field, and he is going to hit 6th. Pat Borders is the catcher. He's going to hit 7th. Manuel Lee goes up to the 8th spot. He's playing short. And Mookie Wilson gets a start in left field in this game as they put Joe Carter at the DH. So he'll bat 9th. All right, let's get this one started. And we are playing with a few. I'm going to incorporate a few more of the homebrew rules. Catcher defense is 1. So if the catcher is greater than 0, less than 0, or greater than -5, which our catchers are at. So Brian Harper is a -4.4. That would be him. Then it's going to make the runner's speed value a +1. So every runner for Toronto is going to get a +1. And then for Pat Borders, he's a 1.8 on defense. So greater than or equal to 0 and less than or equal to +15, they're going to take away 1 from the runner's speed value. So it's going to be harder for the Twins to steal, and it's going to be easier for Toronto. So we'll play that. We'll throw that in. There's also some ground ball type things that can be added in as well, and fly ball. So we'll get to those when we get to them. But this is going to be Todd Stottlemyre facing off against Dan Gladden, Chuck Knobloch, and Kirby Puckett in the top of the first. We got a 14 to a -12 is going to be a ground out with an error check. So that's a little tapper in front of the plate that cannot be held or handled by Pat Borders. And that's going to be an E2 right off the bat. So again, Dan Gladden is a 7 on his speed, but Pat Borders is going to knock that down to a 6. We'll still try, see if we can get him in scoring position. Minnesota kind of going for the knockout blow here. It's a 5. He had a 1 to 6 to be safe, and he's in there with a stolen base. So Dan Gladden in scoring position with nobody out. Chuck Knobloch to the plate. 34 should be good. Both pitchers pitching off of this column 2 card. So 66 really is the only place where you're going to get some effect. A -4, 34 to a -4. That's a long single up, or a single with an error check up the middle. Almost a possibility of an error, but it's not. So that's going to be a single. And coming around third base is Dan Gladden. A 1-7. He'll be safe at home. We're going to send him. Oh, Devon White guns him down. That's going to be out number 1. Wow. So Gladden out at the plate. Knobloch at first. And it'll be Kirby Puckett to the plate. Puckett of 14. 35 to a 14 is a strikeout. So that'll be out number 2. And it's up to Kent Herbeck to keep the inning alive. 55 to a 17. So that's going to be a double play or strikeout. That'll be another strikeout. And Todd Stottlemyre gets out of it. Great play, great throw by Devon White from center field to throw out Dan Gladden. And we go to the bottom of the first. Still no score. Devon White, Robbie Alomar, and Joe Carter are going to be up for Toronto. 56 is going to be a strikeout as Devon White goes down on the hammer. Next up is Robbie Alomar. 26 to a 15. 26 is going to be a single with an error check. So single up the middle. No error on the play. And Robbie Alomar stands in at first. Now Robbie Alomar gets a +1 because Brian Harper is a -4 on defense. So that makes him a 1-9. He's in there. You don't really have to roll, but so he's in there with the stolen base. And I'll tell you what, we're going to send Alomar again. So he's a 1-8 to steal third now. So we're going to send him. And he's in there with 2 stolen bases again. Don't let Robbie Alomar get on base. He's at third with 1 out. And Joe Carter to the plate. 45, that's going to be a single into left center field. And that's going to plate the first run of the game as Robbie Alomar comes home to score. And the Jays take a 1-0 lead. John Olerud to the plate. Olerud, 26, that's going to be a single as well with an error check down the left field line. Possible error on the play. The left fielder is Dan Gladden. He's a plus fielder, so no error. So he's going to go to second base on the single. He's going to go to first. So runners at first and second for Kelly Gruber and 1 out. A 12 is going to be a little short bouncer to short. The only play is going to be to first. And that'll be out number 2, but both runners are going to move up on the fielder's choice. So runners at second and third. Base hit will score 2 from Maldonado, and that's what he got. He got a laced base hit to left. That's going to bring home both runners. And it's now 3-0 on the Candy Maldonado 2-out, 2-run single. We get a tapper to short here. Throw is made to third. But Toronto comes up big in the bottom of the first with 3 runs, and they lead 3-0 against Jack Morris and the Twins. Stottlemyre against Chili Davis. 36 is going to be a walk to the big man. Well, why was I doing that? Anyway, that's a walk. Brian Harper, he is going to ground out to second base. So we're going to get the out at second. That'll be out number 1. Let's roll against Harper's speed rating of a 2, 1 or 2. He'll be safe at first. It's a 9. And that was going to be a, I want to say it's a 4.63, right? So he grounds out into the double play. And that'll bring up Shane Mack. Mack at 23. 35 to 23 is a strikeout. So Todd Stottlemyre with 3 Ks in 2 innings has shut down the Twins' offense so far. Blue Jays send up the bottom of the order with Manuel Lee, and Mookie Wilson. A 14 is going to be a ground out with an error check, so that's a grounder to short. Possible error. The shortstop is Gagne. He's a plus fielder, so he's going to make the play. And now Mookie Wilson stands in. He's going to lace one into center field. That one hops the wall, and he will be standing at second base with a one-out double for Mookie Wilson. 35 to Devo White is going to be a strikeout. So that's 2 outs in the inning. Brings up Robbie Alomar. Alomar singled and scored in his first at bat, but he's going to strike out here as he gets caught looking as Morris perfectly placed fastball in the inside corner, and Alomar can't pull the trigger, and so that's going to be 3 outs. We go to the top of the third. 3-0 Toronto over Minnesota in this game number 4. Series Minnesota leads 2-1 in the series. We have a 55 to Mike Pagliarulo. That's going to be a line out, and it's a line drive to the shortstop. That'll be out number 1. Snake Eyes for Greg Gagne. That's going to lead to a walk. And Stottlemyre loses them. Second walk of the game. Greg Gagne at first. And this is going to be a strikeout looking for Dan Gladden. He'll be out number 2. And Chuck Knobloch to the plate. He's 1 for 1 with a single. 26 is going to be a ground out as he pounds this one into the ground towards second base. No problem at second base for Robbie Alomar. And the Twins go down in the third. Still 3-0 is our scores. We go to the bottom of the third. It's Joe Carter, John Olerud, and Kelly Gruber. This was where all the damage came about in the first inning. 34 to a 19 is going to be a home run chance, but the D9 is a 5. So if it's 5 or greater, that's going to be a strikeout. So instead of a home run, he takes a mighty cut and comes up empty. John Olerud to the plate is going to be a strikeout victim as well. So back-to-back Ks for Jack Morris. Oh, we get 3 in a row. So that's going to be another strikeout swinging. So Jack Morris strikes out the side in the third. 3-0 is our score as we get to the top of the fourth. Minnesota coming to the plate. 46 to a 14. That's going to be a line out. And that is lined right back to the pitcher. Good reflexes from the young Todd Stottlemyre. Brings up Ken Herbeck. Herbeck is going to have a home run chance here. It's a 6 though, as he takes a big cut and comes up empty. And so that's going to be 2 outs in the inning. Coming to the plate is Chili Davis. So 26 is going to be a single down the right field line. Let's see if there's an error in right field. There's not. And Chili Davis will be at first base. 35 to Brian Harper is going to be a ground out, and that's a little worm burner to shortstop. Manuel Lee, no problem with it over to first, and that's going to be 3 outs. So Minnesota gets 1 on, but they can't get them home, and it is still 3-0 Toronto as we go to the bottom of the fourth. Jack Morris facing Maldonado, Borders, and Lee here in the 4th inning. This is going to be a little 3-hopper to short. No problem at short for Greg Gagne. And that'll bring up Pat Borders. Borders 0 for 1. 26 is going to be another ground out. This one a hot shot to third, but managed by Pagliarulo. Makes a good throw for the out. And coming up is Manuel Lee, also 0 for 1. This time he's going to strike out. So Jack Morris finishes off the inning with a K. 3, 6, 7 strikeouts so far in 4 innings for Jack Morris. All right, so Minnesota looking for offense. It'll be Shane Mack, Pagliarulo, and Greg Gagne. 35 to a 23 is going to be a strikeout. It's not coming from there. Todd Stottlemyre has 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Ks himself. And a 35 to a -5. That's going to be a ground out. That one's hit out to second base. Robbie Alomar with a good play. And Greg Gagne is no official at bat. He walked his first time up. 23 is a ground out with an error check, so that's hit to short. And we checked the error, no problem. At shortstop for Manuel Lee. That's a 1-2-3 inning for Todd Stottlemyre in the 5th, who has completely stymied this Twins offense through 5 innings. Morris is going to face off in the bottom of the 5th, excuse me, against the Mookie Wilson, Devon White, and Robbie Alomar. 45, Mookie Wilson's going to wind up 2 for 2. In fact, a 45 is a long single as he hits this one to right field, and he's going to wind up with a double. So hustling out of the box, he has his second double of the day. Let's go ahead and steal with him. He's stealing third, so we have to subtract 1. So 7 becomes an 8. So he's a 1 to 8 to steal third. It's a 1. He's in there easily. And we've got Devon White to the plate. Oh. Put that in the correct inning. So Devon White to the plate with nobody out and a runner at third. He's going to tap it to short just past the pitcher's mound. The only play is going to be to first base, and that's going to be out number 1, but it will score the run. So on a 12, 12s are always the ground out with the runners advancing, so the only play is to first base, basically a fielder's choice. Brings up Robbie Alomar, 1 in and 1 out. 24 to a 4 is going to be a strikeout. Stottlemyre comes back strong after giving up a run. And then a 46 to a 19 is going to be a line out, and that's line to the shortstop. Good play at short by Greg Gagne. But Toronto gets another run. They take the 4-0 lead, and we head to the top of the 6th inning. Stottlemyre faces the top of the order for the Twins, and let's see if he can get through it. 36 to a -12 is a fly ball that goes out to center field. Haven't had a lot of fly balls here. And it brings up Chuck Knobloch. Knobloch 1 for 2. 45, this is going to be hit down the right field line. He's busting it out of the box, and that's going to turn into a hustle double as Chuck Knobloch hits one down the right field line and finds his way to second base with 1 out. 46 to a 14. That's going to be a pop out, and that's popped up to the shortstop. That'll be out number 2. No runner advancement. Base hit will score a run here. 46 to a 17. Same sort of deal. That's another pop up, and this time it's popped up very short to the pitcher, and Stottlemyre catches that for out number 3. So Minnesota gets a runner into scoring position, but they can't bring him home, and we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Still 4-0 Toronto. Morris on the mound can go 29 batters. He's at excuse me, he's at 20 now, and we'll see how long we can stick with him. Olerud up. This is going to be a base hit to right field as he hits the first pitch he sees, and that'll bring up Kelly Gruber. Gruber 0 for 2. 26 to a 2 is a ground out. That's a ground out to second, so we're going to get the fielder's choice here. That's out number 1. Let's roll against Gruber's speed, which is a 5. It's a 7, and so we're going to go 4-6-3 on the double play as he gets doubled up on the grounder to second. And that's going to bring up Candy Maldonado. Maldonado with a 2-run single back in the 1st and a ground out. 26 to a 6. Another grounder. and that'll be hit to short. No problem at short for Greg Gagne. So double play helps Jack Morris out, and we head to the top of the 7th. 4-0 is our score. Todd Stottlemyre still on the mound. He can go 27 batters. He's definitely not there yet. And Chili Davis, Brian Harper, and Shane Mack. So kind of a dangerous part of the order, really. 26 to a 29 is going to be a single with an error check. So hit up the middle and played well in center field as Devo White handles it. But we got a runner at first now. Chili Davis 2 for 2 with 2 singles and a walk. And this is going to be trouble as this one is hit down the right field line for Brian Harper. Harper is only going to get a single out of it, but it's going to push the runner all the way to third. As Chili Davis is at third. Runners at first and third now with nobody out. And the danger is Shane Mack to the plate. 35, though, is going to be a strikeout as he goes down swinging. That was a big K from Todd Stottlemyre. Pagliarulo to the plate now. So Pags is 0 for 2 and a 14 to a -5 is going to be a walk. So that will load the bases. And we're going to play back on this one. So Greg Gagne, still a chance for a double play. It's not going to be a double play. This is going to be tapped to short. Everybody's going to move up. It's going to be an RBI ground out for Greg Gagne as he brings in the first run of the game. Everybody moves up on the fielder's choice. So the only play they have was to second base. Or, I'm sorry, to first base. And so Chili Davis comes in, and that's going to keep the inning alive. There are 2 outs now with runners at second and third. Base hits would get them within 1. This is going to be crushed to deep right field from Dan Gladden. Going back on it is the right fielder, Candy Maldonado, and he's going to reach up right at the track and make the catch. That's going to be a fly ball for out number 3. But Minnesota scratches across a run, and they only get 1 with the bases loaded. So pretty good job by Stottlemyre. He is past his maximum or minimum stamina now. And so we're bringing in a new pitcher in the 8th. But we head to the bottom of the 7th. It's 4-1, Toronto over Minnesota. Jack Morris can go 29. He's not to 27 yet. So he'll face off against Borders, Lee, and Wilson at the very least. 25 to Pat Borders. It's going to be a fly out with an error check. That's flied out to right field. No error on the play. As the right fielder Shane Mack makes the play. Next up is Manuel Lee. He's 0 for 2. 55 to him is going to be a line drive to left field. And that's caught for the out. And Mookie Wilson to the plates. Wilson is 2 for 2 with a couple of doubles, an RBI, and a run scored. So quality insert there as they put Joe Carter at the DH for this game. 23 to a -9 is going to be a walk. So again, he is going to be an 8. So 1 to 8, he'll still second. It's a 5. He's in there. They're still looking for runs. That puts him in scoring position with 2 outs. A 26 to Devon White. He is going to be a single up the middle. That's going to score the run. And let's see if there's an error on the center fielder. There's not. So Devon White is standing at first base. It's now 5-1. So the lead back up to 4. And we get a 33 from Robbie Alomar. A 33 is going to be a double down the left field line. And that's going to be the end of the line for Jack Morris, as coming around to score with 2 outs is going to be Devon White. And it's now 6-1. And we got to get Jack Morris out of there. So let's bring in Terry Leach. So Terry Leach will come into the ballgame with 2 outs here in the 7th inning. 2 are in, and we've got a runner at second base. And Terry Leach is going to face Joe Carter. Carter 1 for 3 in this game. Oh boy, that's going to be a big hit. That's hit out to right field. That's going to go over the right fielder. That's Shane Mack. Takes a bad bounce off the wall, and Joe Carter is going to turn that into 3 bags. So that's going to be an RBI triple for Joe Carter. Coming home to score is Robbie Alomar, and this one is getting out of hand as the Blue Jays bring home another run. That's going to be 7-1 is our score. That closes the book on Jack Morris. He goes 6 2/3. He has 8 hits, and he's responsible for every run up to this point. 8 hits, 7 runs. Just 1 walk. One walk and 8 Ks, but he does have the 8 hits and 7 runs to deal with in his line. He's on the hook for the loss. It's 7-1. And Terry Leach with a runner at third and 2 outs. Trying to get that final out. He's facing off against John Olerud. Olerud with a ground out and an error check. That's grounded to first base. No error. So we're going to pitch it to the catcher, or the pitcher who's covering. And that's out number 3. So the inning ends, but not before 3 come across for the Jays. And it's now 7-1 as we head to the top of the 8th. We'll get a new pitcher for the Blue Jays as well. All right, new pitcher is going to be McDonald. What's his name? Bob McDonald. He's a McDonald. And lefty can go 5 batters. 457 will be his FIP, so he's going to be looking at this card here. He's replacing Todd Stottlemyre, who goes 7 innings, gives up 5 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, and 7 Ks. So a really good start for Stottlemyre when they needed it. He was the ace of the staff that year, had the most batters faced. And also into the game is Terry Leach, so he'll be using this card. I was looking at that wrong, but I don't think it would have changed anything here. So 7-1 is our score. Minnesota is coming to the plate. Heart of the order for them: Knobloch, Puckett, and Herbeck. Let's see if McDonald can handle them with a 6-run lead. If he can't, we might have to bring in somebody new. 15 to a -4 is going to be a base hit right off the bat. Chuck Knobloch with a single. He's going to be a 1-5 to steal second, so I think we're going to hold off Pat Borders with a good arm. And it's going to be a 36 to a 14. That'll be a walk, so an inauspicious start here for Bob McDonald, who's facing Ken Herbeck. 35 to a 17 is going to be a strikeout, so he gets the K as Herbeck is down swinging. 1 out and Chili Davis to the plate. Davis 2 for 2. He's going to take a walk, and that's going to load the bases. So at this point, anything can happen to get the Twins back in the game when you put runners on base. And that'll be Brian Harper to the plate with 1 out. 25 is to a 5. This will be a fly out with an error check. So that's a fly out to left. There's no error on the play. Here we have, if there's a fly ball plus and no error occurs, and there's a runner on third with less than 2 outs, then you score it as a sac fly. So we're going to play that rule here. So fly ball to left, deep enough. That'll be out number 2, and that turns into a sac fly as the runner comes home from third base. So it'll be Shane Mack to the plate. He's 0 for 3 with 3 Ks. Can he come through here? 23. That's going to be a single with an error check. That's a base hit up the middle. No error on Devon White. And with 2 outs, that changes the math. And so this runner is going to score. On the single, this one is going to go to third. And he was already... Yeah, he goes to third. Okay. So that's going to be a 1 RBI single. And it is now 7-3. Pagliarulo to the plate, a 35. Is going to be a ground out. That's right back to the pitcher. McDonald snags it, gets it over to first, and he gives up 2 runs, but he doesn't give up the lead. And yeah, we head to the bottom of the 8th. 7-3 is our score. Terry Leach is going to stay in the game. He's only faced 2 batters. And he will square off against Gruber, Maldonado, and Borders. 36 to Gruber is going to be a fly ball down the left field line. Coming in hard to the line is Dan Gladden. He'll make the catch, and that's an out number 1. Candy Maldonado to the plate. Maldonado is 1 for 3. He had a 2-run single in the first. And a 23 to a 6 is going to be a ground out with an error check. So the ground ball is right in front of the plate. Oh, and we got an error on the catcher. So both of our errors in this game have been on catchers. That brings up Pat Borders. He's going to tap it to the second baseman. The only play is to first. So the runner at first moves up into second base. That's into scoring position for Manuel Lee. The Jays could add another run here. But 15 to Lee is going to be a ground out to first base. He puts his hand up, runs it to the bag himself. That's Herbeck. And for all that, Leach holds them scoreless as Toronto strands a runner at second base. We go to the top of the 9th. 7-3 is our score. We're going to bring in a new pitcher for the Jays. Who has pitched here? So we've had Timlin, Hinkie, Ward. I believe Hinkie came in this game. Timlin and Hinkie both. So let's bring in Ward. He's only come in once in this series. So Ward, Dwayne Ward. That's not the right guy. Dwayne Ward is a righty. He can go 5 batters and a pretty stellar 1.74 FIP. So he will come in here and replace Bob McDonald, who gave him 1 inning. 2 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, and no strikeouts. So sort of a kind of a rough inning for him, but made it through, saved them at least one player, you know, as far as the bullpen is concerned. And we got 3 more outs. It's Gagne, Gladden, and Knobloch. We got a 14 from Gagne. 14 is going to be a walk. So what the Twins need are base runners. That's the second walk of the game for Gagne. Brings up Dan Gladden. Let's bring in Randy Bush to hit for Dan Gladden. So Bush here, 9 batting runs. What is it? 9 minus 2. So we'll get a pinch hitter here. Randy Bush to the plate. And replaces Dan Gladden, and he comes up big with a long single into right center field. He himself is going to stop at first, but that's going to push the runner all the way to third. And the Twins are in business. They're down by 4 runs. And it's Chuck Knobloch to the plate. Oh boy, this is going to be a triple to right field as Knobloch brings everybody home on a 2 RBI triple. And that is clutch from the diminutive second baseman. 2 RBI triple for Knobloch. Still nobody out. And Kirby Puckett to the plate. A 14 to Puckett is going to be a base hit. That's to right field. That'll score another run. So 3 are in. It's 7-6. I mean, the Twins literally have their best player out there, or their best reliever. But it's not going well for him, as a 44 is going to be a walk. That's going to put runners at first and second. And I think we just got to get him out of there just so it doesn't blow this. Let's bring in Carl Willis. It is not his day. Or maybe the Twins are bound to win this one. I don't know. So righty, 9, 292. Nothing's going to change. We're going to use the same card, but maybe it'll just change their fortunes a little bit. As he gets no outs, he gives up 3 hits. Don't know how many runs yet. So far, 3 runs. He's on the hook for 2 more. 2 walks, no Ks. Oof. That's a really bad line. So Carl Willis comes in. He's going to come in right here. Trying to save the game now. 7-6. A 22. Oh my gosh. That's a double to center field. And that's going to get 1 run in. For sure, this one. He's going to go to third. His speed is only a 3, so they're going to hold up Herbeck. But that's going to be a double to center field, and it's now a tie ball game, if you can believe it. So the Twins needed 4 to tie to get in, coming into this inning, and they've gotten 4 with a, and they have 2 runners in scoring position, threatening to take the lead. So that was Chili Davis with the double. He's now 3 for 3. Double, 2 walks, 2 singles. And Brian Harper comes to the plate. He's going to strike out, so that'll be the first out of the inning. So all this with nobody out. The danger is Shane Mack to the plate. A 15 for him is going to be a ground out to first base. I think at this point we got to play the infield in, right? Ground ball hit to second, first, or pitcher with a runner on second. The out is recorded. Ground ball hit to second, first, or pitcher with runners on second and third. If the defender is a plus, then the runners hold. If the defender is a minus, then the runners advance 1 base. So that's the situation here. We have a ground ball to first base with runners at second and third. Is the first baseman a plus or a minus? First baseman is a minus, so all the runners are going to advance. Oh my gosh. So even even with the infield in. I'm going to let that stand. So that's going to be the Twins taking the lead on a fielder's choice, as the only play was to first base for John Olerud, and that's going to be an RBI. And that brings up Pagliarulo. So the inning from Hades for Toronto, as they went into this with a 4-run lead, they're going to come out of the inning with a 1-run deficit as a 25. That's going to be a fly out to center. And thankfully, Devon White is a plus. Otherwise, that would have been a pretty disastrous error. So that gets them out of the inning. And how many runs come in? So all the runs are going to be charged to somebody, Dwayne Ward. So Ward came in here. He's charged with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 runs. It's now 8-7. And instead of the game ending, the Twins are going to send out someone to close it up. Oh, you know what? I put the wrong guy in there. Carl Willis. Who do they have? Bring in somebody. Yeah, we'll charge that to Tom Hinkie. Not Carl Willis. All right, so Hinkie, just about the same, 244. Can go 4 batters. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong card. But Hinkie came in. He was the one that gets them out. So he throws a full inning. And let's get the right team. So the right team is going to be Minnesota. They've got Willis, Aguilera. Let's go with Aguilera. Righty can go 4, 3 is his FIP. And let's see if Aguilera can close the door on the Toronto Blue Jays. This would give Minnesota a commanding 3-1 lead. Mookie Wilson. Let's see, Toronto on the bench. They have Ed Sprague, Mark Whitten, who went for 4 home runs. Let's go with Ed Sprague as a pinch hitter. -2. So we got Sprague coming in for Mookie Wilson. 13, that's going to be a grounder to short. Gagne with the throw to first. Hometown crowd cheering on Devon White as he stands in the box. White is 1 for 4. 34 to a 16. It's a 7, so that's going to be a strikeout from Rick Aguilera. The Twins now 1 out away from taking a commanding lead in this series. Robbie Alomar gives this one a ride out to right center field. On his horse is the right fielder. That's Shane Mack making a fine running catch near the track. And that is all she wrote. So the Twins score 5 in the top of the 9th. They shut out the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 9th. And they win this one by a score of 8-7. Wow. That is a wild game. All right. Let me come back with the totals, and we'll wrap this one up. All right, we're back with the totals in this one. Minnesota wins 8-7. They take a 3-1 lead in the series. They will, I think they have one more in Toronto, and they can close it out on the road in Game 5. But they score 8 runs on 11 hits and 1 error. And for, I believe it was just 1 error apiece. Nope. Sorry, they had 2 errors. And for Toronto, it's going to be 7 runs on 9 hits and 1 error. Toronto controlled this game. They were up 7-1 going into the 8th. They gave up 2 runs. Ben McDonald gives up 2 runs. And it was 7-3 going into the 9th inning, and then an eruption of 5 runs in the top of the 9th. And wow, that was a lot. So they went walk, single, triple, single, walk, double before Tom Henke was able to come in and close the door. But too many sheep had already gotten through at that point, and it was 8-7. Coming in for the save is going to be Rick Aguilera, 1 inning, 1 K. Getting the win will be Terry Leach, who came in for an inning and a third here. He stopped the bleeding in the 7th, had a shutdown 8th, and because he was in the game, he's going to get the win there at the end of the game. No decision for Jack Morris, who goes 6 2/3, 8 hits, 7 runs, 1 K, or 1 walk and 8 K. So not the greatest start as his team comes back and takes him off the hook. Todd Stottlemyre, though, 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 7 strikeouts. Really good start. You can see this is Todd Stottlemyre. This is the bullpen. And the bullpen just really let down the Blue Jays in this game. This is played with the On Base Baseball Pocket Edition. So the 1991 set is now available. I'll put the link in the description. You can actually go and get either the 1980, 1986, or 1991 sets. Those are all available for purchase. I'll put the link. When you go to the link, you'll see them all, so you can choose which one if you want to purchase one. I'm working on 2024 next, so that should be coming pretty soon. I finished the cards. I just need to put everything together now. And don't know what will be after that, but we'll have, the latest season available pretty soon. Yeah, it's a very fun game. It comes all just kind of self-contained in this little box, and it's an entire season replay right in a box. And you can see you just transfer all these numbers over to your score sheet, and then you play off the score sheet. So On Base Baseball is a quick and fun game. It's very customizable. So you can see here, these are all homebrew rules that have been shared on the Facebook group. And so some of those things give just a little bit more detail to base running, fielding, that type of thing. So all the numbers are there for you to play with. But you just have to fill in some of the blanks for yourself. It's great to play right out of the box. There are some homebrew rules for some of these things. Not homebrew rules, but like coded in rules for some of these base running situations. And you can see those in the game guide when you get the game. When you purchase the Pocket Edition, you also have the ability to download there's 2 different styles of score sheets. One with like a 1 to 12, basically inning by inning traditional score sheet. And then there's one that's at-bat by at-bat, and it has like 7 at-bats, and you just basically go down the line like this instead of staggered. And it's got a little space there for putting in your game totals if you want to put the totals for each batter. So that's a nicer presentation as far as like adding more detail to the score sheet. But then you got all the pitchers are the same, and it's a nicely laid out score sheet. You can use it for anything. We've got batting, defense, and speed here. So these are already sort of marked out where you can put those in. And then we have all of our Sierra or FIP, stamina, right or left. So you have those kinds of things, a win and loss or save. And then you have all the kind of basic stats. So there's enough on this score sheet to be used for every other game, but also specifically created for On Base Baseball with these values in mind. Okay, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, click on subscribe. If you like this video, click the thumbs up. That's a really easy way to support what I'm doing here. Purchase a game. That's also an easy way. You can go to clarkaddisongaming.com and find all of my games. So I make tabletop cards and dice sports games for baseball, basketball, for football. So multiple games usually in every sport, and the big ones are up-tempo basketball, play-action football, precision baseball, on-base baseball. So there's quite a few there. I also host selling games for some other another developer, and so there's a couple of games on there, some quick play games. There's a college football game and 1-2-3 baseball. Those are created by a different developer, and I'm hosting and selling for him. If you're a developer and you don't have a lot of skill with those things and you want to get your games out to more people, or you just want somebody else to take care of doing a lot of that legwork of, putting the games out there and handling some of those parts of it, of the selling part, contact me at clarkandaddisongaming@gmail.com. I'm happy to help you out and to put your game onto my site. It should be PDF, and we can deliver those PDFs anywhere around the world immediately, and we'll work out a system of my cut, basically, for offering those services. And it's nothing too crippling, and so got a pretty good system going on of accountability and accounting, and so that makes it easy, and gamers can pay using PayPal or a credit card, and we take care of passing on the fees and stuff like that, and I absorb some of those things. So just reach out to me if you want to sell a game and you don't really have a marketplace for it. There are lots of, I get anywhere from 100 to up to 100 visits a day to my website, so people would be seeing your games. Wouldn't be like you're starting out fresh. So that's a possibility for any developers out there, small developers just getting started. That would be, if you want some consultation on how to get going, I can show you a great company that I use that's really good, really modern websites and modern site designer and some stuff like that. So if anybody is interested in that, just let me know. Game 5 will be next. I believe that is also in Toronto. So they do a 2-3-2, I believe is how they did these series. And we'll have one more on the road. Minnesota will be able to close it out. They're up 3-1 after this wild and crazy game. Look at that. They scored all their runs after the 7th. And the No Fight Twins, they came 1991. They were last place in 1990. 1991, they were first place. Same thing with the Braves. It's the first time two teams who have been in last place. I think it's the first time anyone's gone from last to first, like to the World Series, period. And then we had two teams. Both teams in the World Series had done it. So pretty wild and pretty crazy. Obviously, Minnesota setting the foundation for good teams. Well, they had already won the World Series, I guess, in '87. So this is maybe a continuation of their run. But the Braves obviously setting the stage for what would come, from 1991 to about 2005. So it was a long run for the Braves and a slow burn. And they would add Maddox later, and that really put a lot of fuel on the fire. So really good game here. And it's like they just keep getting hits, and what can you do? You have your best players in there with the best card, and they just couldn't stop anybody. Just couldn't keep that 45 and the 34 from coming up. Had a triple in there. I don't know. Just can't do anything about that once people were hitting triples. We had a couple of triples in the game. So, all right. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comments section. I'll get to those very quickly, usually within minutes or hours. And so, don't feel like I'm not reachable. If you want to email me, clarkandaddisongaming@gmail.com. And then go to clarkandaddisongaming.com and buy something. The holidays are coming up. Winter is setting in. Next week, supposed to be in the 40s here in Chicago. So winter is starting to come in finally, mid-November. And, time to hunker down. And while it's bad weather outside, play some games. And maybe you can try some of these new and put them in your set. All right. I think that's it from here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.